Good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Pearl Daily. I am your host, Pearl, and this is the Audacity Network. Today, we have a special show for you. So, yesterday, I showed you guys the street interviews of me going to a Kamala Harris rally. So, it blows my mind that so many people are voting for Kamala Harris. While I do think Trump is going to win, the amount of people that allegedly half the country about is going to vote for her. And to me, it just didn't make sense. So I wanted to go see for myself who are the people voting for her and why, what is the reason that they are voting. Now, I do believe that politics is gendered. But there are some generalizations that I just am not able to make on YouTube. So, for the purpose of this stream, I am going to say liberals and conservatives, and I'm going to avoid certain topics. You guys know what I mean in the chat. But before we get too much into the topic, we are going to have a word from our sponsors. This is the problem these days. It's no wonder you see testosterone levels of men declining 1% a year. The average testosterone levels are half of what they were 50 years ago. This is one of the foundational physiological reasons why society is crumbling and in the state that it's in. These women are getting away with murder, and there is a simp epidemic. Testosterone levels are so low, and something needs to be done about it. Chalk is on a mission to save mankind from extinction by boosting your vitality. When you boost your testosterone, you'll have more mental clarity. You're more capable of taking risks and making decisions. Having high testosterone will also affect your pheromones, so women will find you more attractive subconsciously. Get the Chalk Male Vitality Stack on chalk.com. That's CHOQ.com. Chalk provides the highest quality herbal supplements clinically studied to boost your testosterone. Their tongue cat is wild harvested from the Malaysian rainforest and is studied in double-blind human trials to boost free testosterone levels 87% in 21 days. Use my name, Pearl, as your coupon code, and you'll get 25% off site-wide on chalk.com. That's CHOQ.com. Coupon code Pearl. Boost your testosterone naturally, supercharge your masculinity, and don't be a simp. Don't be a simp, guys. Do not do it. Okay. But do you guys understand what I'm getting at in the chat? I do think politics is gendered. However, there are certain generalizations I'm not able to make on YouTube, and we do try to stick by their guidelines while we're streaming on this platform. Okay. So we have to remember that we are being pandered to 24/7. And right now, as women, we have a lot of power. Now, what power do we have? We make 80% of consumer buying decisions, meaning that all of the corporations are catering to us to make us feel like we'll be young forever. And they don't want to hurt our feelings and be honest with us because it hurts their bottom line. It is the same thing with politicians. Politicians know that we are the biggest swing voters. And, I think people learn from a young age, they have to cater language to females to make it less direct and make it not hurt our feelings. Also, some men, and it's not all women, just to be specific. So I'm going to show you guys the street interview that I did. I'm going to have to cut out. This is a very funny commercial we made, but I can't talk about all of it because it will not be good on YouTube. Let me cut out the beginning. Okay, so what were the reasons people were voting for Kamala? Let's see.
Rights.
The right for the reproduction.
I just want government to stay out of our medical decisions, especially for women.
Abortion being
available to people again.
Keep our freedoms reproductive.
But reproductive rights, definitely a huge, huge issue.
Women's rights.
Abortion.
Human rights overall, being able to make a choice for your own body.
Women's reproductive rights and freedoms.
Women's rights.
Reproductive rights.
Abortion.
Women's.
Okay, I don't want to be a democracy stuff. So when I went to this rally, I thought we don't actually think that Trump will be a dictator. Why would they think that?
One thing this election season is that Project 2025 does not get implemented. Trump will become a dictator because that's part of Project 2025. And if someone hasn't read the highlights and they're voting for Trump, they should read the highlights of Project 2025.
And I'm sure.
Hold on, we're gonna cut this part.
Is
No, what did I do?
people names and be so derogatory to the human race.
I want Trump gone. I don't want Trump to win. He's don't.
Okay, and then the third reason I got was I hate Trump. Now, back in the day when I worked a sales job, there was a man that was the market vice president. And in sales, the market vice president is the boss. I think it was my boss's boss's boss. And he was a cutthroat guy. And he had one of the most successful markets in the whole country for our company. Many people did not like him. There was a lot of people that talked trash about him and did not like him. But guess what? He did a good job. For me personally, I think I love Trump, but it is more important that somebody does a good job than me liking them. If I like somebody and they do a terrible job, where does that get me? Nowhere. Nowhere.
Act human. Trump do not act human to me. So I want him gone. And I'm here to support her 100%. Do you hear that? Did you get that?
And to think that if I was still in service yet, that I might be asked to turn against my fellow Americans for a person's political gain, I'm really troubled by that.
Let me give some more of my opinion. I want Trump gone, okay? And I want Kamala Harris to win, okay? And waltz, okay? And I'm here for them, okay?
I hate to talk bad about people, but he seems downright evil.
I don't think that, a businessman from Manhattan who's been a trust fund kid his whole life, regardless of him being a business guy, I don't think he represents the majority of Americans.
Donald Trump is an existential threat to the future of this country. He's the only president who has stated that he would basically deny our democracy, wreck our democracy.
I kept hearing this. I'm like, what?
And who tried to do so on January 6th.
Donald Trump in jail. Don't get me started. I could never vote for him in a million years. I'd die before I did.
Trump's full of hatred and cruelty. Trump is a Epstein pedophile Nazi traitor to the country. He tried to insurrect and overthrow the government. My dad was in World War II in the Navy. His brother drove a major around Europe. He was in Dachau the day after it was liberated. Now we got Nazis walking in the streets, parading in the streets. We got one running for president.
He's more about grievance and fear and division.
It would upset me more to see someone like Trump get in and set a setup where young people would believe that if I cheat and lie and bully people.
The crazy thing is, they say Trump cheated when the Democrats didn't even pick her. I mean, they just appointed her. She wasn't even voted in.
People and assault people that I can become the most powerful person in the world. That upsets me.
I mean,
hold on.
The working class to not be taxed and the top 1% to pay their fair share.
Is there like a specific law that she's going to pass to do that, or?
I don't know.
Okay. Okay. So for the two women that watch my show, I'm sure there's two of you. I think that as women, we have to be accountable for our choices. Now, feminists have fought for 100 years to give us economic freedom, reproductive freedom, and power over men. And if we're being really honest with ourselves, feminism won. While it sounds nice that maybe there would be some going back in the future, I don't see it. I don't think it'll happen. You can't turn back time. The cat is out of the bag. Birth control is here. You're going to keep seeing birth rates plummet. you are going to, women, we have all of our rights. We have the right to work. I don't really see that going away anytime soon. But men have so nicely created birth control. And oftentimes I hear from women that they don't want to take birth control because it messes with their hormones. There's even non-hormonal options, right? There's copper IUDs, the male condom. There's a female condom now. Cervical caps. Now, so crazy. Fertility awareness methods. So this is natural family planning. There's really only a couple days a month you're very likely to get pregnant. It's not foolproof, right? Contraceptive gel we have now. The pull-out method. Breastfeeding as birth control. Okay, well, that's, you got to have a kid first. Vasectomies. Tubal litigation. Okay, so I understand, but life is about choices and trade-offs. And if we choose to not have kids young, this is not something that we should be voting for the leader of the free world. I would rather not have access to abortion than have World War III. I would rather take home 10% more money than have World War III. So, I just think as women, this isn't something that I would vote for. The next thing that I wanted to know was, why does everybody think that Trump will be a dictator? So I pulled up this clip.
Coverage of this.
Oh, wait, hold on. Not this one. The other one I'm going to do first. To see, why do they think that?
Concerns that he would govern as an authoritarian. Donald Trump is no longer merely suggesting he'll be a dictator should he win a second term. Now he's just coming right out and he's saying it. Watch.
I want to go back to this one issue, though, because the media has been focused on this and attacking you. Under no circumstances, you are promising America tonight you would never abuse power as retribution against anybody.
Except for day one.
Except
Look,
for?
He's going crazy. Except for day one.
Meaning?
I want to close the border, and I want to drill.
That's not retribution.
Do you know what's funny? You can clearly see he's being sarcastic, but the left has no sense of humor. None. They take everything so seriously and then they overreact. And that's what I'm seeing they're doing as a way to try to stifle him. And notice there's a group of people, I can't say what group, I can't say it, that have a tendency to do this. They use offense and overreaction as a way to control you. And once you see it, you can't unsee it.
I'm going to be, he keeps, we love this guy. He says, you're not going to be a dictator, are you? I said, no, other than day one.
Other than day one, which is another way of saying.
You see now she's doing, what is she doing? She's putting words in his mouth.
Yep. It's a frightening new flashpoint in a trend that we have monitored for years, one that has accelerated at light speed this week. Alone, Trump might be powerless to act on such threats. But Trump, he is not alone. You just heard people gleefully cheer for a day one dictatorship. He has support among Republican voters and a permission structure among GOP lawmakers that nearly allowed him to interrupt the peaceful transfer of power in January of 2021. What's more, he now has a greater understanding of the levers of power in government and an inner circle evidently hell-bent on actualizing his worst impulses. Remember Kash Patel? He's the Trump loyalist who served on the National Security Council, the guy Trump reportedly wanted to make deputy director at the CIA or the FBI. He may very well be in the conversation for such a position, or an even bigger one, in the next Trump presidency. Listen to this conversation with Steve Bannon.
Kash, I know you're probably going to be head of the CIA, but do you believe that you can deliver the goods on this in a pretty short order the first couple of months so we can get rolling on prosecutions?
Yes, we will go out and find the conspirators, not just in government, but in the media. Yes, we're going to come after the people in the media who lied about American citizens, who helped Joe Biden rig presidential elections. We're going to come after you.
Just so we're clear, that's a would-be intelligence official for a self-admitted day one dictator celebrating the idea.
It's so interesting. You see her face? Her face just looks. They take everything out of context and then they overreact.
Of prosecuting journalists for, doing their jobs. Like we said, these aren't hints about what Trump.
You guys outright lie and spread misinformation. They outright lie. Oh,
will do.
Okay, so the next one we're going to go through is
the coverage of this rally, though, has lured.
Okay, so Donald Trump had a rally last week. And this rally had a bunch of celebrities there giving different speeches, right? And this was a huge rally in New York. There was tons of people outside. It was completely filled. And there was a man that made a joke about Puerto Ricans. He's a comedian. He made a joke about Puerto Rico being a garbage-filled country. And again, we're going back to the same thing. It's overreacting. There have been times where people make jokes and they're offensive and maybe they don't land or maybe they're not funny. But we cannot base the leader of the free world off of anything other than will they do a good job? And you're going to see how the media overreacts to this. And then on top of that, starts calling him names and saying that he is a Nazi. But the last decade, my whole adult life, I've always heard the media call you racist, sexist, homophobic, and they just keep upping it. They keep coming up with worse and worse insults. And people are getting tired. It's not going to work. And my prediction is that the stronger Trump gets, the more they will try to shame Trump, insult him, throw him in jail. He dodged a bullet. Try to ruin his reputation because that's all they got. And you'll notice this in the real world too. When we realize, a certain group realizes that we don't have control over masculine men, that's when you see the shaming, the guilting, the insulting. And at the end of the day, all we have is reputation destruction and getting men to do things for us. That's it.
Really revolved around two things. First, a racist comedian who was part of the program before Trump even spoke, who said some truly vile things, targeting Latinos, calling Puerto Rico a floating island of garbage. That's a quote. Mocking Black people, Jewish people, Palestinians. Really horrible stuff across the board.
Can we play the world's smallest violin? Please? I need to get that in my sound. I need to get a soundboard. Guys, sign up to the AudacityNetwork.com so Pearl can get a soundboard and I can soundboard the world's smallest violin because I mean, I don't really give it I don't care what somebody says at a rally, what jokes are made. It doesn't matter to me. What I care about is who is the best person for the job.
Now, none of this should exactly be surprising. I mean, Trump has built for himself.
Why do all women become Karens? I swear, it's inevitable. Conservative, liberal, all women, one day, they just, not all. Sorry, YouTube, not all. Not all, not all, not all. Okay, a lot. Why do a lot of women, not all. You don't all, you know what? Ladies, you're so special and awesome and amazing. You don't become a Karen. You really don't. You don't nag about everything. That does not happen. Haha.
Quite a body of racist and xenophobic work over the years. We've just shown you a couple that has
xenophobic
lines there. And overall, the reaction, though, to last night in many ways has been good for the Harris team because it sparked an outcry, even though it's not surprising. And I mean, the truth is, just like Harris said today, this is really nothing new.
I think last night Donald Trump's event in Madison Square Garden really highlighted a point that I've been making throughout this campaign. He is focused and actually fixated on his grievances, on himself, and on dividing our country. This is not new about him, by the way. What he did last night is not a discovery. It is just more of the same and maybe more vivid than usual. Donald Trump spends full time trying to have Americans point their finger at each other, fans the fuel of hate and division.
They can't bring something out of you you don't have. If you're a hateful person, that's on you. They can't bring something out of you that you don't have.
And that's why people are exhausted with him. That's why people who formerly have supported Donald Trump, have voted for him, are supporting me, voting for me.
Sure, it might have.
Do you guys know a single person that was supporting Trump last election and is voting for her? I don't know a single one. I don't.
Been more vivid.
I think it's going to be, I think that the Biden administration has made America so bad and they can't lie about it anymore. They really can't. Crime is terrible. We see videos on social media every other day, and these are places that a lot of us frequent in the city, right? If someone getting robbed somewhere we know, or somebody we know getting their house broken into, or a swarm of people from another country coming into different towns in America. You can't unsee this. There's that apartment complex in Colorado that got taken over. They want us to be blind to what's going on. I can buy less at the grocery store. I was in England for 3 years. I wasn't even in this country. So I felt it when I got back, that every time I would come home to America, because I'd come back every couple of months, everything would be more expensive. They want us to not notice. They want us, and they think that we're dumb enough to that they can say, oh, he's so divisive, and that's going to send us to the polls. And ladies, I'm trying to tell you, they're trying to manipulate us, because all they're doing is trying to instill fear in us, saying that Trump is a bad person, saying that we're not going to be able to get our abortions. And they're trying to instill fear to get us to go to the polls. And it's not going to work. People are not stupid.
As she just said. But it's yet just another reminder. I mean, just 8 days out from the election of exactly who Trump is. And the Harris team also didn't waste time putting an ad on the air saying exactly that.
A floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean. I think it's called Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico. I will never forget what Donald Trump did. He abandoned the island and offered nothing more than paper towels and insults. Puerto Ricans deserve better. As president, I will always fight for you and your families. And together, we can chart a new way.
Notice how it's never anything specific. It's just, oh, you deserve better. Here's free things. We'll give you something.
Forward.
Nothing.
Now, besides all the racism in those 6 hours.
Oh my gosh. Oh, make it stop. You know what? You guys, the word racism has been overused. Nobody believes it anymore. When I hear that someone's racist, and mind you, I've actually met real racists, but when you guys call everybody racist, we don't believe it anymore. The word has no weight. You're telling me Trump. Oh my.
The other big headline that seemed to emerge from last night is about a secret plan Trump said he has with his little buddy, Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson.
And I think with our little secret, we're going to do really well with the House, right? Our little secret is having a big impact. He and I have a secret. We'll tell you what it is when the
Trump hits at secret with White House. They cannot take a joke. They can't. This is the thing. Trump says very sarcastic things. He's a bit off the cuff. He's a bit brass. And they'll take 30 seconds from a 2-hour speech out of context. And let's see what they say about this secret.
This is over.
Now, when the two major takeaways from a 6-hour-long big closing message rally 8 days out from Election Day, or 9 days out, I guess, yesterday, are about how racist you are and speculation about your secret plans to steal an election, it's pretty clear you don't have a whole lot else.
Where did he have secret plans to steal? Is she saying that the secret was secret plans to steal an election? You know, I always hear men say that we put words in their mouth. Have you guys ever felt that? Like you're in an argument with your girlfriend and she says that you said something and you're like, that is not at all what I said. That's what we're seeing in the media. Putting words in his mouth. Putting words. It was like the Crowder case when I covered it. He said, I'll F you up. Wait, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. And then she said, you said, I'll F you up. You said, I'll F you up. And then they put that all over the media. Candace Owens reported on it, got millions of views, called him an abuser, never apologized, never. And to this day, still has not retracted it anyways. I'm very salty about that case because I didn't like how they all did him dirty. But it was completely out of context, right? Completely out of context. Oh my gosh, it drives me nuts. Okay, that's enough from that. So the third reason that we got was that they do not like Trump. I cannot vote for somebody so hateful. He's so evil. He's just the worst. And I keep asking myself, how low IQ can you be that you won't vote for somebody because you don't like them? If you think he'd do a terrible job and that's why you wouldn't vote for him, fine. But because you don't like him? Okay, so notice how Kamala says, I will always listen to you even if you don't vote for me. And notice how when Trump talks, he talks about action. When Kamala talks about listening.
The drive to protect hardworking Americans who aren't always seen or heard and deserve a voice. And I will tell you that is the kind of president I will be. And look, I'll be honest with you, I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. But here's what I promise you. I will always
Is there a plan? Is there a plan? Let me see a plan.
Listen to you. Even
Okay, listening is great. Listening's so great. But what are you gonna do, Kamala? What are you specifically going to do?
even if you don't vote for me, I will always tell you the truth. Even
A plan. Anything. Action plan.
if it is difficult to hear. I will work every day to build consensus and reach compromise to get things done. And if you give me the chance to fight on your behalf, there is nothing in the world that will stand in my way.
Of doing what? Of doing what? I don't need to be listened to. I want a plan, dang it. Anything, my goodness. Okay. So now apparently everyone's upset because of this joke. This is the joke we were talking about earlier at the Kamala rally or the Trump rally. So this guy is a comedian. What do we know about comedians? Comedians are here to offend you. I mean, the late, great Patrice O'Neill, sometimes he talks about us women. He says that we're old and all that, you know, and it would hurt my feelings a little bit. I'm like, oh, but you can't overreact. You just gotta take it. And because they're funny and that's their job. And the overreaction is what they want you to do. They want you to get angry.
You know, there's a lot going on. Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but there's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah. I think it's called Puerto Rico. Okay, all right. Okay, we're getting there. It's absolutely wild to see. And in Texas, stuff is really, really crazy. We're right there by a wide open border. Where are my proud Latinos at tonight? You guys see what I mean? It's wide open. There's so many of them. It's absolutely incredible. Believe it or not, people, I welcome migrants to the United States of America with open arms. And by open arms, I mean like this. It's wild.
Okay, I don't care. That part was funny.
And these Latinos, they love making babies, too. Just know that. They do. They do. There's no pulling out. They don't do that. They come inside, just like they did to our country.
So, now, I see these guys. So, now these are some guys from Valuetainment. There's Patrick Bet Davis and who are the other ones on this panel? I don't know, like 3 other men. And
by the way, one of the moments that everybody's talking about from last night, you guys, the comedy and what this means is, here's Tony Hinchcliffe, which we've had him on the podcast. By the way, this guy is ridiculously talented.
Yeah.
He may be the best guy right now when he gets on stage and works the crowd and roasts everybody one by one.
He's an insult comic and he's a roast master.
God, the way he
That's
does
who
it.
he is.
What he did at the when he roasted
Tom Brady.
Now, Dennis Prager has a gynocentric leaning. And when I say gynocentric, I mean ruled by a certain group of people that I can't talk about.
Brady, I thought it was amazing. But here's him at the event talking about an island, and I'll let him say it. Go ahead.
A lot going on. Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but there's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah. I think it's called Puerto Rico. Okay. All right. Okay. We're getting there. Now, again, normally I don't follow the national anthem, everybody.
Okay.
So the guys are laughing. And we have to understand when men talk, they're more direct in their communication. They don't really care about feelings. There's a reason locker room talk is a thing. Because locker room talk is crass. And let's not pretend as women we don't have our version of locker room talk too. But what tends to happen is they build these awesome industries and then they have to cater to us if we get offended.
Me, comedian. What are your thoughts on this?
Okay, well, first of all, I love, and I call it what it is. It's fake outrage from the left. I mean, by the way, we didn't know the timing of it. I didn't watch the whole rally, but going up after the national anthem. Do you guys remember? I'm pretty sure you do, Dennis. Don Rickles does the Ronald Reagan roast, right? No, not necessarily the roast. He spoke in front of everybody. You know what he opened with? Webster, for all the young people that don't know, is a little person actor, a black little person actor from back in the 80s. Can you show the opening of this, Pat? What he says to him at the beginning?
Sure.
Show this, Rob. Listen to the opening line.
I know this is a Republican celebration, but I have the honor of introducing a man who is so democratic, he picks on everybody equally, even a little kid like me. Mr. Don Rickles.
What year is this? Oh, man. Vinny, you're not getting, what's he about to say right now?
No. Can we play this? Yeah, you can play this. This way, dude, he's in front of the president.
Okay,
Watch this.
1985, January 1985.
Be funny. And look at the first line that look at that racial humor. Look what he says to this little kid.
I think he was like 22 years old.
First black kid I ever saw that'll definitely never play basketball.
Okay, all right. Stop that. First black kid I've seen that'll never play.
What event is this at?
He opened with that.
Well, what event is this?
Oh, this is at like
1985 inaugural ceremony for Ronald Reagan.
He just became.
Got it.
Think
So
about
this is after the 49 states
But he
won.
just became the president. This is in front of.
You're talking about a different time, though, Vinny. You're talking from 84, 85 to now. You are in the most sensitive season of all time. So let me go back to it. Okay. So, Tom, what Tony Hinchcliffe said on stage when he says, an island of, what does he call it? An island of.
He said there's a floating island of garbage.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Puerto Rico.
What do you think about it? What do you think about it? Because just so you know, Trump's camp came out afterwards and he said, we don't agree with what he said. I don't know if you have this, Rob, or not. It was to the point that Trump's camp had to respond to it and say, look, that's what he said. We don't agree with him when it comes down to Puerto Rico.
Okay.
There's a lot of voters for Puerto Rico across the country.
For sure.
Especially some markets that are, battlegrounds.
But Pat, and that's Tom, I'll let you go. But think about it, PBD. They hired an insult comic. You hired a roaster.
Sure.
People should know that. And mind you, George Lopez over the weekend at Kamala's rally said that Mexicans are thieves. So it's not like, oh my God, let's be shocked.
Yeah, but the point on that one, they said Mexicans is thieves. He's Mexican. So it's kind of like he's making fun of himself.
I got you.
But that, again, go ahead, play this clip so people can see it. This is about the wall.
We're going to build a wall. And George Lopez said, you better build it in one day, because if you leave that material out there overnight.
So funny, but it's
Okay. So, in my opinion, comedians, they have a job, and I just do not think that we should be offended over jokes. Get over it. This should have nothing to do to do with the race. Nothing. But what you're going to keep seeing is you're going to keep seeing them overreact and lie about Trump. And what we need to do as conservatives is just stay calm, let them freak out. They're basically a child throwing a temper tantrum because they're not getting their way. Because they know that she was the worst possible candidate. They could have put someone else up there that would have been way better. I'm not going to say who, but this has to be the worst candidate that they could have picked.
Trump is. He is the person who stood at this very spot nearly 4 years ago and sent an armed mob to the United States Capitol to overturn the will of the people in a free and fair election.
Yeah, they're going to keep lying about that. No, he did not. Okay, so the interesting thing that happened also was Obama came in.
I'm going to go ahead and just say,
starts shaming black men over excuses for not voting for Harris. Again, when I see him gynocentric leaning. So ruled by a certain group of people.
speak some truths, if you don't mind. Yes. Because my understanding, based on reports I'm getting from campaigns and communities.
Why am I getting gay vibes from this guy in the back? Did you guys, am I going crazy? Look at his eyes. He's like,
is that we have not yet seen the same kinds of energy and turnout in all quarters of our neighborhoods and communities as we saw when I was running. Now, I also want to say that that seems to be more pronounced with the brothers. So if you don't mind, just for a second, I'm going to speak to y'all directly. And say that when you have a choice that is this clear, when on the one hand you have somebody who...
Why doesn't he think grown men can't decide for themselves? Why, like, what? Him talking like this is so insulting.
Grew up like you, knows you, went to college with you, understands the struggles and pain and joy that comes from those experiences. Who's had to work harder and do more and overcome and achieves the second highest office in the land and is putting forward concrete proposals to directly address the things that are vital in our neighborhoods and our communities, from housing to making sure that our mothers and our fathers and our grandparents can afford medicine, and making sure that we are dealing with prices that are too high and rents that are too high, and are committed to making sure that we maintain the Affordable Care Act, so everybody's got help here and cares about things like education.
So again, they're not getting their way. They cannot believe that men are not voting for Kamala. They cannot believe that the American people aren't voting the way that they see fit. And so again, now Obama is shaming them. He's saying this is a clear choice. He's not saying decide for yourself. He's saying this is a clear choice. Vote for Kamala. And this is the shaming language. It's the same thing you see in divorce court. It's the same thing you see in arguments. It's shaming men for doing what they want to do, and it's not going to work. Men are sick and tired of being told that they're not man enough if they don't do what society tells them they should do.
And entrepreneurship in our neighborhoods. And that's on one side. And on the other side, you have someone who has consistently shown disregard, not just for the communities, but for you as a person. And you're thinking about sitting out? But, you know, because of Pookie might be. And you're coming up with all kinds of reasons and excuses. I've got a problem with that. Because part of it.
Who are you to tell grown men if they should or shouldn't vote this election? That is completely their choice.
Makes me think, and I'm speaking to men directly now, part of it makes me think that, well, you just aren't feeling the idea of having a woman as president. And you're
so
coming.
Now he's saying, oh, you're sexist because you're thinking of sitting out. And what if that's the reason why? What's wrong with that? Why can't men not vote if they don't want to vote? I see the election going towards Trump. That's what I think will happen. And the reason I think that is because they're freaking out so hard. It is like a child throwing a temper tantrum.
With other alternatives and other reasons for that. And I think anybody you are talking to in a barbershop, anybody you are talking to in your house, in your family, at church, who is coming with that kind of attitude, I think you have to ask them, well, how can that be? Because the women in our lives have been getting our backs this entire time.
Really? Because 50% of women divorced their husbands. I don't know. I'm just saying we're not really holding up our end of the deal in society. I mean, think about it, guys. Men keep the lights on, they build the buildings, they run the entire infrastructure of society, so much so that if we kept our jobs, this country would be a third world country GDP-wise. So, I mean, men are pretty much keeping up their end of the bargain. Are we offering children? I mean, not really. There's a population collapse. Are we doing 50% of the infrastructure jobs? No. Are we raising good kids at least? Oh no, we're throwing our kids in daycare? Oh, okay. You know, what are we doing really?
They've been raising us and working and having our backs. And when we get in trouble, and the system's not working for us, they're the ones who are out there marching and protesting. And so now you're thinking about sitting out or even supporting somebody who has a history of denigrating you?
I think people that use big words for no reason, I really think they're just trying to confuse you. I mean, how is Trump denigrating anybody? What happened? Where are the, like, I thought it was sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me.
Because you think
the Loudstone says, have women ever said, no, I'm not going to take half of his assets. I'm not going to put him on child support. And if he doesn't pay to go to jail, I'm going to let him see his kids. I'm not going to portray you.
that's a sign of strength, because that's what being a man
But
is.
this is what they want to do. They don't want men to think for themselves. They want to tell men what to think, and men just aren't wired like that. It's, you know, we kind of have a hive mind as ladies. That's just what we tend to do. We tend to go get the latest fashion trends. We tend to do the latest workout class that's popular. Men aren't like that. I mean, guys will figure out 10 ways to do something themselves before they want to go pay for something. When a party starts to lose support, they will blame the voters instead of blaming their policies. How pathetic.
That's not acceptable.
Oh, that's so funny. He's saying that's not acceptable.
That's not.
How dare you? How dare, that is ridiculous. You're going to tell grown men, oh no. Who are you?
This shouldn't even be a question.
This is the problem. Famous people have had too many people kissing their butt, no matter how terrible of people they are, that they just think they can say anything. Food up 28%, gas up, gas up 30%, electricity up 38%, and I'm supposed to vote for her because I'm black. I can't stand him and his fake Midwest accent. This is so manipulative. The people do not follow you into the voting booth. Vote for who you want, not who they want you to. I went through a good big bit of the comments section, and I'm proud to see black men not getting sucked up in this BS. The comment section is restoring my faith in people thinking for themselves. He chose to shame them instead of asking why black people don't like Kamala. What a clown. Thanks, Obama. As a black man, I was on the fence about voting for Trump, and now I'm definitely voting for him. Obama, go sit down and be silent. You or Kamala haven't done anything for black men. Oh, this comment section is hilarious. Black men just getting schooled for thinking for themselves. Crazy how far they are willing to go to play the brother card. Wow. So, let me get this last. And this is what they're going to keep doing, right? So this is a clip. Kamala is saying Trump has spent a decade dividing and making us afraid. Again, it's all fear-based. He's divisive. He's racist. He had this horrible joke. None of them are attacking his policies. It is all just attacking his character. And the interesting thing was America first post had a clip talking about Megyn Kelly. And this is I always tell you guys, this is what tends to happen. Men have a tendency to build industries. Women have a tendency to go into those industries and police the speech because we just cannot take criticism the way that guys can. We don't talk as direct. Our feelings get hurt. And because the world has a tendency to cater to us and say things to us in a nicer way, most of us never really get chewed out by our bosses like that. I mean, have you guys been chewed out by a boss? Have you guys been screamed at? Men have to go through that. Or a friend roasting you for being annoying or awkward or maybe getting bullied. Women, we don't go through that. And so, again, this is the older women have a tendency to become Karens. They start Karening out. So we got Megyn Kelly.
It wasn't a Nazi rally. All that's nonsense. But I'm telling you, even for me, and I voted for Donald Trump last week, it was too brotastic. Okay? It was. You're trying to win an election in which you're hemorrhaging female voters. Maybe when you present in front of hundreds, thousands at least, at Madison Square Garden, you clean up the bro talk just a little so you don't alienate women in the middle of America.
Do you think they talk to their husbands like this? One in the chat if you do. Do you think they tell their husbands they're talking to bro? I mean, where do we get off? It's so out of order. You cannot tell men how to talk. You really can't.
Who are already on the fence about Republicans. Do they have no women advising their campaign? Is there no actual woman sitting behind the scenes?
I hope not.
Coming up with the guest lineup and saying, let's just have a word with the guys who are going to be speaking about this isn't the bar. This isn't their living room. This is a campaign. This is politics. We're trying to get him elected. We don't need to rally the base. It wasn't a Nazi rally. All that's nonsense. But I'm...
Okay. Then, do you know what, guys? What's her face? Nikki Haley does the same thing. Nikki.
Tell Puerto Ricans how much they were right to denounce.
Can we turn the sound up on this one? Okay, let's see. Let that go.
They were right to denounce the comedian. They need to go and tell Puerto Ricans how much, they do value them. They need to tell Latinos that, but they also need to look at how they're talking about women. I mean, this bromance and this masculinity stuff, I mean, it borders on edgy to the point that it's going to make women uncomfortable. You've got to...
Oh, cry me a river. Ladies, if you can't handle the heat, get out of the kitchen. If we want to be politically involved, then quit crying about how people talk in politics. This isn't a friendly world. Get over it.
Affiliated PACs that are doing commercials about calling Kamala the C word, or you had speakers at Madison Square Gardens, referring to her and her pimps. That is not the way to win women. That is not the way to win people who are...
You can. All right. Are women ever happy? So let me ask. So we live in the freest country we've ever had. As women, we have more rights and opportunities than ever. We have dating apps that give us 1,000 matches just by downloading them. We have the freedom to have kids whenever we want, work whenever we want, put our kids in daycare, a million forms of birth control. I mean, none of us are starving. We're all overweight. And are we happy? Are we saying, you know what, guys, thank you so much for building this society. You guys are such great men. Thank you so much. You guys are amazing. We're so grateful for you. No. I mean, if you want to get a female approval, you're going to be waiting the rest of your life. It'll never happen.
About Trump style. This is a time to talk about the economy. This is the time to talk about immigration. This is the time to talk about national security. And this is the time to talk about Kamala Harris. They were right to denounce the...
Okay. Keep on going. Michelle Obama is telling women to only go on dates with men that are registered. Michelle Obama urges young women to date only registered voters. You're cute, but are you registered? Obama says no vote, no date.
Well, hey.
They're getting so desperate. They are trying to go. Not only they're trying to shame men for voting for Trump, they're trying to attack men for being too masculine. Now they're trying to ruin men's dating lives and use that as a weapon to get men to vote for Trump. They are desperate.
Oh my goodness. I mean, oh.
What? Oh, sorry, Kamala. I can't talk.
It's just so good to have everybody here tonight. And I want to thank all of my friends, all the folks who took time out of their busy lives to come here to be with Georgia, be here in Atlanta. I'm not going to get into any specific races or candidates because that's not what we do at When We All Vote. We are a nonpartisan, nonprofit effort designed to change our country's culture around people. We all vote is fundamentally connected to their own self-interest because that's really what your vote is. It is your.
Hold on, guys. I don't know where it is. This is like a 30-minute video. But no vote, no date is a powerful message. It's crucial for young women to prioritize civic engagement when choosing who to date. But women don't even like liberal men. We really don't. Now, apparently, on top of all this, there also have Chinese hackers targeting the Trump family. So Chinese hackers target the Trump family, Biden aides in a massive breach. Federal officials have confirmed Chinese government-linked hackers infiltrated U.S. telecom systems, accessing phones belonging to Eric Trump, Jared Kushner, and Biden administration officials. Source calls the breach way worse than the public knows, describing it as a real-time wiretapping of less than 100 targeted individuals. The nature of access data remains unknown. The Trump campaign blames the Harris administration for the breach, while CISA has launched investigation into unauthorized access to commercial telecommunications infrastructure by Chinese actors. Verizon acknowledges the attack by a highly sophisticated nation-state actor as federal investigation continues. I'm telling you, it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse. But the thing is, the Biden administration has just jacked us around too long. Even
I just got back from Donald.
I'm even seeing many women coming out as Trump supporters. Look at this.
Got back from Donald Trump's rally at Madison Square Garden. I'm a Jewish New York Republican, and I have seen the mainstream media calling this a Nazi rally. And that couldn't be further from the truth. There were so many Jews there, just myself. There was Israeli flags in nearly every single speaker talked about their commitment to upholding the relationship between you.
The Wi-Fi is going, guys. Let me try it again. Let me start over.
I just got back from Donald Trump's rally at Madison Square Garden. I'm a Jewish New York Republican, and I have seen the mainstream media calling this a Nazi rally. And that couldn't be further truth. There were so many Jews there, just like myself. There was Israeli flags in nearly every single speaker talked about their commitment to upholding the relationship between U.S. and Israel. Not to mention all the Latinos for Trump, gays for Trump, and nearly every other group that would have never been allowed in if this was actually a Nazi rally. Kamala Harris could literally bring Adolf Hitler on her stage, and the mainstream media still wouldn't call it a Nazi rally. Their lies are futile. Trump is winning this election in 9 days. Make sure you get out, vote early, and vote for Donald Trump.
Yeah. And thank God we have social media to dispel a lot of these lies. Because 20 years ago, you know, the same people own the media networks. So we don't have all of these YouTube channels reporting on what's actually going on. We didn't have the option to have TikTokers and all of these people with smartphones that tell us what actually happened at an event. Then let me see what else I want to pull up. Biden called Trump supporters Nazis, or sorry, Joe Biden calls Donald Trump supporters garbage during a Kamala Harris event. Again, they're getting desperate. They're going to keep throwing insults at us in order to try to win the election because she's not the right candidate.
Own goal from the current president of the United States. He's referred to Donald Trump's supporters as garbage.
Puerto Rico, where I'm in my home state of Delaware, they're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters.
He was responding to a joke that was made at the Madison Square Garden rally by a comedian where he called Puerto Rico a floating island of garbage. But either way, that is an own goal from the president, potentially a damaging one just a week out.
Okay. Trump supporters are teachers. Trump supporters are women. Trump supporters are Jewish. Trump supporters are men. Trump supporters are plumbers, electricians. There are so many different kinds of people that support Trump. I just went to a rally like 2 weeks ago, and I met a farmer there. I met a politician there. I met a border patrol officer there. I met all different types of people that you cannot tell me that all of Trump supporters are garbage. It's ridiculous. And these politicians, they get so out of touch because they've lived in Washington their whole life. They've never worked a real job, and they start to think they're better than average Americans. And we're sick of it. People can't afford their groceries. People can't afford their electricity. Rent is getting higher. I know so many people that moved home with their parents because the economy is so bad, or so many people that lost their job. People are getting tired. Okay, I think that's let me do the Timcast one. And then this is the
My bad. I just don't know if I'll be able to own a credit.
Again, it's
Oh, I got two.
So these are Democrats, and look at, they're outright lying about what Trump said he's going to do.
Too political? My bad. I just don't know if I'll be able to own a credit card without my husband's permission in 7 days.
Oh, did I get...
Trump hasn't said anything about that. Where did Trump say he was going to take away our credit card? They just make things up.
Too political? My bad. I just don't know if I want to get rid of overtime in 7 days.
Oh, I've gotten too political? My bad. I just want to make sure I have access to birth control in 7 days.
Oh, I got too political? My bad. I guess I don't know if I'm going to be a U.S. citizen in 7 days.
Oh, I got too political? My bad. I'm just worried I won't be able to love who I love in 7 days.
Oh, did I get political? My bad. I just don't want my mother to be denied her health care because she has a pre-existing condition.
Oh, I'm being too political? My bad. I'm just fighting for the future of my daughter.
Oh, I got too political? My bad. It's just that I don't know if my family in Western North Carolina will be warned of the hurricane coming in 7 days when the National Weather Service is gone.
Oh, I got too political? My bad. I don't want them to start rounding up immigrants to deport in 7 days.
Oh, I got too political?
I mean, are they here illegally or legally? I mean, you guys want illegal people here? Why?
My bad. The only reason I have a daughter is because of IVF.
Oh.
What the? Trump's pro IVF.
I got too political? I just don't really want JD Vance tracking my periods in 7 days.
Are you guys nuts?
Too political? My bad. I don't want Trump to take over the Board of Education, put in his lackeys, his loyalists, and have y'all continue to think that Puerto Rico is not a part of America. Open the schools.
Oh my gosh. See, they just make things up. But I actually think how crazy they're getting is a good thing. I really do. Because I don't think they can stop it. I really don't. But unfortunately, I want to close this out by saying biology does always win in the end. And the unfortunate thing about women especially single women as swing voters, we will generally always vote Democrat unless it gets really, really bad. But I still will guess that Kamala will win the majority of women. As you can see here, there's this idea that if you raise a woman right and you instill conservative values, that you have control over how conservative she'll be in the future and who she votes for. And that just isn't true. It really isn't. You can't help if she gets in the wrong group of friends. You can't help who women watch on social media. At some point, we do have agency and we have the right to make decisions. And unfortunately, most women, I would guess, will vote Democrat. And an example of this is George Bush's daughter, Barbara Bush, endorses Kamala Harris. So from one of the most right families in this country, still votes Democrat because biology always wins and women want the right to choose who is born. And I just don't see that going away anytime soon. Anyways, that's all I have for you guys today. I'm actually pretty hopeful. I think that it's good that they're freaking out because it means that they got nothing left and Trump, in my opinion, is going to win next week. So yeah, anyways, guys, like the video on your way out and subscribe to the channel. I love you guys. And please go to theaudacitynetwork.com if you can to support my work. There's some people I really want to fly in, but it's expensive and we need to get to a certain amount of, we maybe need 500 more members on the website before we can fly people in. So the closer we get to that, then, we can. I think it'd be cool to bring in like Jesse Lee Peterson and some other people, in the conservative space. It'd be fun. Like the video on your way out, guys. Subscribe to the channel. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you tomorrow.